The entire world runs on one unifying driving force, a power so strong we're incapable of escaping its grasp, no matter who we are or what we do. A mother holds her child tight in the face of danger because of it. A student tirelessly examines and acquires knowledge because of it. Men and women will devote time, their most precious commodity, day in and day out because of it. In fact, it defines the goal and objective of every person alive. Motive. Whether you go to bed early so you can wake up rested or save a percentage of every check you make, you are bound by motive. Today, we live in a world where everything is at our disposal. Every new and innovative technology announced is designed with the purpose to give you whatever you want when you want it. Once designed to merely communicate, our phones will tell you where you are, what you want, and how to get it, with no more effort than the entering of your credit card number. Yet, with everything at our disposal, we seem to almost instinctively redirect every motive to one destination, ourselves. As we lay our heads to sleep every night, another day passes where life, purpose, and motivation extend no further than our own personal desires. Knowing how quickly we can boast in our own accomplishments, Paul begins chapter 13 of 1 Corinthians with a pretty extensive list of everything that pales in comparison to one vital gift. He says if you could speak every language that has ever existed, possess so much knowledge that you understood every textbook ever, and if you gave every penny and every possession to the poor, but you don't have love, it amounts to absolutely nothing. I once asked God, how do you save the world? He took me to John chapter 3. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God sent not His Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through Him might be saved. Somehow today we've lost sight of the most important motivation of all. Why is it that we make decision after decision with only ourselves in mind? Is it possible that we're not motivated by love because we don't truly understand what it is or how to show it? Society has told us that to love someone, you must agree with whatever decisions they make. That if you disagree with someone, not only do you not like them, but you hate them. Paul continues in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 to describe exactly what this priceless commodity truly is. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. When was the last time a waitress brought you your meal and it wasn't exactly how you ordered it? Were you patient and kind, or did you demand your own way? When you were on the phone with customer service and you couldn't understand what the other person was trying to tell you, were you rude or irritable? When you tell your neighbor about the love of Jesus and he refuses to accept what you're saying, do you give up and lose faith? Or do you endure through every circumstance? When my daughters were born and I looked into their eyes for the very first time, nothing else mattered in that moment but them. I felt a love in a way that I never understood before that moment. I knew that I would do anything. I would sacrifice everything, fight to my very last breath to ensure that my daughters were safe and provided for. I cannot imagine the agonizing pain Father God felt, knowing He was sending His only Son to a death sentence for a planet full of people that would deny, hate, and murder Him. And for this unfathomable sacrifice, God asked for one thing in return: our belief. He did not ask us to live perfectly without sin. He didn't ask us to lock ourselves in a closet and pray 24 hours a day. He simply asked us to accept His free gift of love. When I became a father, my motives began to change. I realized that I was more interested in making decisions that would not only benefit my daughters, but that would be an example to guide their own decision-making process. I wanted them to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they were loved and that nothing they could do would ever change that. Our Father didn't send us to the world to condemn them. Their sins had already done that for them. He sent us to show them the light and the life of His love. Someone who has accepted the love of the Father already knows what pain, condemnation, and judgment feels like. They don't need to feel it from us. Of course they won't act like our Father. They don't know Him. But we must never give up. We must never lose faith in those whom Jesus died to save. One of the most prevalent motives in the world today is fear. Fear will keep a man from committing his life to a woman. Fear will cause someone to lash out in anger. And sadly, fear will prevent many people from sharing the love of Jesus with the world. What would cause fear to be so strong that it would prevent us from bringing salvation to the lost and dying? 1 John 4:18 says, "There is no fear in love, and that perfect love casts out all fear." So according to the Word, if you're struggling with a fear problem, you're really struggling with a love problem. If you truly believe in the Lord, then by definition, you're required to take action. If you love me, and there's even the slightest possibility that I don't know Jesus, you will minister to me. Regardless of how scary, smelly, profane I might be, I need the perfect love of the Father. It's time to stop making excuses. Is the stormy weather outside more important than the storm that's raging in someone's life? Is the profanity and objections coming out of someone's mouth more important than showing them the unconditional love? It is time to eliminate the selfish motives in our lives. It's time to go forth in patience and kindness. Time to eliminate jealousy and pride. Time to put aside rudeness and irritability. We must never give up. We must never lose faith. We must endure through every circumstance and truly let love be our only motivation.